All right.
All right. Cool. So everybody, hey Jeanette, hey Free, or maybe her get back on with her phone. Yeah. So we was having some connection problems, but everybody, this is Tiff with the T. Make sure y'all go subscribe to her page. She is an awesome person. She have awesome topics. I be tuned in. I try to catch up. If I don't miss it right when she posts, I try to catch up. It's very interesting. So hey Jeanette, hey Zaya. All right, so today I've been following this case, y'all. I've been following this case since I first heard about it at the beginning of the year. I didn't learn about it when it first happened in October. It happened October 20th,
17.
2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pretty much we're gonna talk about that and now Jeanette said she just subbed to you. Thank you. So pretty much we're gonna talk about that. Okay, we got somebody else. Hold on. Oh, so I thought there was somebody coming. So we're gonna talk about that. The lady name is Takia Bevily, and her husband name is Morris Bevily. Both of these people are from Mississippi. I think Takia is from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and her husband Morris Bevily is from Port Gibson, Mississippi. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the the murder happened. The murder happened in Port Gibson, Mississippi. So basically, I just want to do the timeline. I pulled up the timeline from Facebook. I can't remember what date it was posted, but I pulled it up and I just wanted to give y'all the timeline of the event. So Friday, October 20th, 2017, Jariah Smith is Morris Beverly biological daughter. Jariah Smith is the stepdaughter of Takia Beverly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So October 20th, 2017. It says Jariah goes from biological mother Deidreana Smith to Danielle Skinner, and that's Morris's cousin.
Okay.
She's transported without a car seat or baby bag. At some point, Danielle is unavailable to get Jariah to stop crying. So she contacts Takia Beverly so she can calm her down. Remember, Takia Beverly is the
The
stepmother of
stepmom.
Jariah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it says this is Takia's first time being made aware that Jariah is with Danielle and is also without essentials. For this reason, she offers to pick her up. Danielle declined.
Mm. So Danielle, you said Danielle is Morris's cousin.
Yep.
Okay, see, I didn't know that before. I know they mentioned those three Fisher girls, but they didn't mention. I don't think they said specifically. I didn't see that they were cousins, so that's important to know.
Yep. And so, again, still on October 20th, 2017, it says even though Danielle declined, she allows Andrew, Morris's younger brother, to pick up Jariah. All
Okay.
right. So, I got my notepad, y'all. Mom, two, cousin, and then three is Andrew. So, Jariah came from the biological mom to the cousin, which is Morris's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
From the Morris cousin, Jariah went to Andrew, which is his younger brother. So back to this, it says Danielle allows Andrew, Morris's younger brother, to pick up Jariah. She
Mm-hmm.
is transported from Vicksburg, Mississippi to Port Gibson, Mississippi, and taken to Danielle's mother home, Antoinette Skinner. So there's four people that had this baby.
Mm-hmm. How close is Vicksburg and Port's whatchamacallit in
Port
Mississippi?
Gibson. I want to say just the estimate. I ain't too big on maps, but I want to say it's at least about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
This is ETA. Okay, so after that, it says Friday, Jariah went from her mother to Danielle Skinner, which is Morris's cousin, to Andrew Bevily, which is his younger brother, and finally to Antoinette Skinner, which is his auntie, Morris' auntie. So all three of these people, besides the biological mother, is some kin to Morris on his side of the family. That's some kin. All right, let's go to the next slide. I hate I can't share this with y'all. Okay, so Saturday, October the 21st, 2017, while in Fayette. Fayette is Vicksburg. So just say while in Vicksburg, Morris has received a phone call because his mother, who we thought was on her deathbed at the time, was in the hospital. It says Takia was home during this time. They finally meet with Antoinette. Remember, Antoinette got Jariah now, which is Morris' auntie. They finally meet with Antoinette to get Jariah because she do not have clean clothes. They meet about noon. And it says from that time until about 9 p.m., they are all at the hospital visiting Morris's mother. And it says this is all on surveillance. You know, when they go to the hospital, they be on surveillance. They got the camera or whatever. So again, still Saturday, October the 21st, hospital surveillance also shows that the normal, energetic Jariah was not walking independently as she normally would. The one time she stood, she needed the assistance of a nearby table. It says Takia is actually the only person Jariah goes to rest her head during that time and goes to sleep. They leave the hospital and make it home about 10 p.m. Both girls are put down. Now, we're going to start right there. So, just to summarize, all right, baby Jariah came from the biological mother, which is the Deidreana Smith. From the biological mother, it went to Danielle Skinner, which is the cousin of Morris, right? From Danielle Skinner, it went to Andrew, Andrew is the younger brother.
The brother.
Morris. Yes. So, about 45-minute drive, Andrew picks up Jariah, takes Jariah to Antoinette Skinner, which is the aunt of Morris. They learned that Morris' mother, she's sick. She's possibly maybe on her deathbed, like they stated in what I'm reading. So all of them get together. They go to the hospital in Vicksburg or whatever, and they stay there until 9 p.m. that night. Now, be advised that Takia and Morris, they have another younger daughter too, besides Jariah. So it's two little girls in the midst of that. When they left the hospital about 9-10 p.m. that night, they go from the hospital to home and put the girls down for bed. So that's where we at now. All right. So it says Sunday, October the 22nd, 2017, around 5 a.m. Jariah is discovered in her crib, passed away after a routine crib check. Morris, which is the dad, the biological dad, first calls 911, and then he calls the biological mother, Deidreana Smith. The police in the corner arrived to take pictures and statements per protocol. It was thought that Jariah simply died in her sleep. Takia nor Morris were arrested that night because there were no visible signs of abuse and distress. So, you know, they thinking it's a normal death. The baby passed away in his sleep. There was no signs of foul play or nothing, no cracks, no nothing, no bruise, no blood, no weapon. They didn't find none. No scars, no none. Normal baby deceased. All right? So, all right. They take the baby. The initial autopsy report was received months after the death and the burial of Jariah. It was completed by Dr. Mark Levin, Chief Medical Officer of Mississippi. It stated the matter of death blunt force trauma, and the cause of death is homicide. So when you think of blunt force trauma, like, what do you think? You automatically think somebody done hit this baby, the head.
Yeah.
I mean, that's common. That's a given.
Yeah.
Blunt force trauma. Somebody got injured upside the
Yeah.
head, some kind of something. But you never think of, maybe the baby fell or, nothing like that. So that's my first mind. All right.
Yeah.
It stated the matter of the death was homicide. All right. So although Jariah passed in the Beverly's home, it is important to remember that number one, she was in the care of at least 4 other people prior to being in Takia and Beverly and Morris Beverly care. Number two, there were no visible bruises or distress that would indicate that she sustained blunt force trauma while in Takia and Morris Beverly care. Number three, the chief medical examiner did not provide a timeline of when the injuries could have been sustained.
You cut out for a second. You said the chief medical examiner what?
Okay, let me go back. Hold on. It says number three, the chief medical examiner did not provide a timeline of when the injuries could have been sustained. All right, let's see what they talking about. Hey, Free. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Jeanette. Zaya. Hey, Coleman, babe, and everybody. All right.
Hey, y'all.
So, let's see. All right, so at this point, they examined the baby. They did an autopsy, they already stated that, the cause of death was blunt force trauma. And then, it was homicide. So, next slide, it says Dr. Levon stated that Jariah suffered a linear parascale fracture along with, it says suffocation with an undetermined etiology. He did not provide a time frame in which these injuries occurred. His autopsy says absolute no swelling in the brain. Unfortunately, he has placed on administrative leave prior to the trial and was unable to testify in court. So
this is this is a different medical examiner.
So this is the same medical examiner, the first one.
Okay, and he's saying that she died by suffocation. There was no trauma.
Swelling in the brain. No swelling in the brain. Mm-mm. Yep, he did say that. He said it was some skull fracture along with suffocation with the undetermined etiology. I don't know what etiology means, but I got to look it up.
Spell it. Ectology. You said
Etiology.
Okay. Etiology. It says that it's the set of causes or manner of causation of a disease or condition. The investigation or attribution of the cause or reason for something.
Okay, so he didn't. Okay, so he said. So basically, he's saying that with the suffocation, it was undetermined for the condition, right? What condition made her suffocate? Okay, let's see. So this first medical examiner, Dr. Mark Levon, he was placed on administrative leave. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what the deal was with that, but let's go to the next. So it's another forensic scientist, Dr. George Nichols. It says Dr. George Nichols was hired by the state and did an analysis of original autopsy. So, all right, this is the second guy that's doing this autopsy, y'all, because the other man, he's on administrative leave.
And I think in one of the lives they had mentioned the reason he was placed on leave was because he had worked too many cases. Like, you only can examine so many bodies, and he was way over his limit. So I think that's why they put him on leave.
Yeah. I saw that too. I saw
Mm.
that too. So, okay, it says in his findings, he stated the skull fracture and associated bleeding were all healing. This is the second medical examiner. He also stated that Jeriah had 5 scalp contusions that did not injure her brain. He concluded that somehow the 5 scalp contusion to which he did not age, so he didn't know when the scalp contusion appeared. He don't know if it appeared 2 days, 3 days. Well, he didn't state. I don't know if he knew, but in the report, he didn't state the age of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it says he didn't state the age, caused her
But the
brain.
other ones were healing, meaning that they didn't happen recently. Like
Right.
they didn't happen that day. They had happened sometime in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he said he ultimately concluded that the injuries could have been as 8 days old, but he didn't know. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
like he couldn't tell you a precise exact time frame. He said it could have been 8 days old. So he couldn't determine at that point. All right. So this is a pediatrician, Dr. Donnell. Dr. Donnell found that the scalp contusions were not significant enough to cause the death. He stated that Jeriah died from SIDS. And everybody know what SIDS is. SIDS is it's like an irregular death in children, but they
Sudden
say it's
infant,
normally
yeah.
right. So he too determined the skull fracture and associated bleeding was healing. So there's 2 doctors that said that the contusions were healing. So
Mm-hmm.
again, they couldn't put an age on it. He said it could have been, 8 days old, but 8 days old, the stepmother or the father, they
Mm-hmm.
weren't with them. They ain't have
Right.
custody. They just had the baby overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it says Jeriah had no other skull fracture, rib fracture, long bone fracture. She didn't have no hemorrhaging, nothing, no swelling of the brain or any other injuries associated with child abuse. So not one of the 3 medical experts placed a timeline on when nor where Jeriah sustained her injuries. Dr. Nichols testified under oath that it was possible that Jeriah would experience a lucid interval, the time between injury and symptom. So a lucid interval, that's like sudden. You know, she didn't sustain no injury, no sudden injury. Like
Mm-hmm.
bam, and then she dead.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever happened per se, it could have happened long term or it was leading up to it. You know how you sick or something. Say for instance, I get a bad cold or something. I don't wish that on, but I'm saying, say for instance, I get a bad cold
Mm-hmm.
and come to find out I got COVID or something.
Yeah.
But I'm fine these days. Day 1, day 2, day 3,
Mm-hmm.
day 8, flatline is over with for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is the case on that. He also admitted that he altered his report because the prosecution told him to do so. Now, this Dr. Nichols, the first doctor,
He put that where? Where are you seeing that?
he
That's
said,
in the report?
yes, he altered his report because of the prosecution told him to do so. He said this under oath now. Now, this is the first medical examiner that ever touched the body. Okay?
Wow.
Right. All right. So that's the end of that.
This
Those
sounds like a
guys.
setup already.
So my thought on it, y'all. I mean, my heart goes out to both of the families. Like, it's a sad situation because it's death within the baby. The baby is innocent, and like, I don't know if the baby was harmed per se, but this lady, her stepmom, got life in prison. I think without a possibility of parole. But it's more to it. Like, I mean, we can talk about it in stages, but this is the first stage, y'all. This literally is the first stage for us talking about this incident. And my thoughts about it, like I said, my heart goes out to both sides of the family because you lost both, not one person. You really lost both people, you know. And it's sad to say. I mean, it's like a railroad for the lady. The lady, now a backstory on the stepmom. She's a LPN. She have children of her own. Um, I mean, it's hard to say. It looked like she was the perfect stepmom. Like from the pictures and everything, it looks like she was the perfect stepmom and all that. But looks can be deceiving. Let's not X that out, you know. But it's a lot of flags in this situation. So right now they're going through a appeal. And the reason they're going through an appeal now and they have a gag order because they can't post about the case on Facebook. She have a blog page that's called I Stand with Kia. And they will post all the court documents and stuff like that. But they can't post now because they're going through an appeal. The judge ordered a gag order, so they cannot talk about the case right now. Because really, it's a lot of things that went on that slid through the cracks. And they say here in Mississippi that sometimes, and it's everywhere, you know, they have kickbacks everywhere. Let's be real. You know, they say here in Mississippi that people are wrongfully convicted. And this is a small town that this happened in, Port Gibson. You look at the fact that, you know, you may have like 1,400 people in the community. You got to look at everything is for every dog has a day. Put it like that. Everything is about money, politics, whether it's age, black, white, whatever. If they see a one shooting bullet that they can shoot that bullet through, they're gonna win. You know, so you got to look at that. But what are your thoughts on this situation?
Listen, I think that the mom is innocent. And the reason I think that she's innocent is because she found out about this baby when she was pregnant with her own baby. Okay? This was before they even got married. So she found out about this child. And even though she was hurt and, you know, of course, taken by surprise that her husband was cheating on her, or her soon-to-be husband was cheating on her, she still took the baby. Like, if you talk to her best friend, she remembers the phone call where Kia called her and was telling her, you know, I'm going to have another baby. You know, he has a daughter and I got to take care of what kind of mother would I be if his baby lives down the street from me and I don't love that child. You know, I got to accept her as my own. And the best friend remembered this conversation distinctly. There was also a couple of things that I saw with the interview with her brother where he said, to this day, he still has not gotten a lie detector test. She's been begging to get a lie detector test. She kept on saying, there's no way that they're going to find me guilty because there's nothing that I'm guilty of. The facts are going to speak for themselves. We're just going to let this play out because I'm innocent. There's no way it could point to me that I'm guilty. Then on top of that, the lead investigator over the case, he is good friends with, I guess it was the auntie or something. He was on the prosecution, but he was friends with one of the people that had the baby that day. So that's not a coincidence. And then you telling me that the medical examiner said that the prosecution told him to lie on the report. That's a red flag right there because the prosecution is linked to the detective. So this is something is definitely not right. The fact that they were at the hospital and they noticed on the camera that the little girl wasn't walking by herself. They should have looked into these things instead of pinning it on Kia right away. I don't think they asked the right questions. The fact that it was in such a small town, the jury, how they were biased because this news story was circulating around that time. I don't know. I think they said the population was less than 1,500 people. They should not have selected a jury from a town that's small. And the news is saying that, this happened to this little girl. There's nobody in that town who would not have heard that story, who wouldn't already have formed an opinion. The jurors only deliberated for 30 minutes. 30 minutes they came back with a verdict. Nah. They had their mind made up that she was guilty. They didn't look at the facts. They didn't, and I didn't look at like the trial itself, like what went on during the trial. I didn't look at the transcripts or anything like that. But I guarantee you, if you go back and look at the trial line by line, you're going to find they weren't asking the right questions. It kind of seems like they already had their mind made up that Kia did it, and that was it. They just wanted to prosecute somebody for it. The blunt force trauma, that wasn't even conclusive. The way the child died was a big question mark. So it was a lot of red flags. And then it's in Mississippi. Mississippi is one of the most racist states in this country. Mississippi and Alabama. Everybody knows that. Anybody black should know that Mississippi and Alabama, if you're black, you're guilty. That's just how it goes. So it's just too many red flags that make me feel like there's no way that girl did it. And I hope that they're able to get her out, because I don't know. It kind of seems like now they're chilling because they convicted her. They postponed the husband's trial, which is questionable because he's the father. He's the one that called 911. She was just basically a bystander in the whole thing. I think she's the one who found the little girl dead in the morning, but that's because she's the one who wakes up and goes and checks on the children. She had to go and wake him up and tell him that something was wrong for him to call 911. Okay. So, I don't know.
But see, I'm going to tell you. So, my thing is, when I first heard about this case, I was thinking like, so what made the stepmom guilty? Now, be advised, y'all. They charged the stepmother and the father, the biological father, with capital murder out top. So after they came through the autopsy and everything, the reports came back that it was a blunt force trauma, and they ruled it as a homicide. So of course, right off, they was in custody. They had the custody of the little girl. So somebody's gonna get charged,
right?
Both or no, you know what I'm saying? So of course, okay, that's a given. They charged both of them with capital murder. Now, what made them zoom into the stepmother, right? What made them zoom into the stepmother is the wording. If you go back and look on that blog, because I was like, okay, so what made them look into the stepmother? When you go in that room in interrogation,
right?
You gotta have that stuff tip-top shape, I guess. Everything's not gonna be verbatim. That's just like if I say, I went up to the street, to the store, right? I went up to the street. I'm telling y'all, I went up to the street. The store. I went up to the street. I'm messing up. I went up to the store up the street, right? And I come back and say, I went to Dollar General up the street to the store, right? So I just switched it up. I told you at first I went to the store, but I ain't tell you no name.
Right.
So it was that case. Which
that's why they zoomed in on her.
They zoomed in on her because of the wording.
Wow.
So, like I said, I told you I went up to the store up the street or whatever, but I didn't tell you the name of the store or nothing.
Anybody can do that. Anybody can make that mistake when they're just talking regularly. And then she was going through a lot. Like, she had just lost her daughter. Who knows what was on her mind? She could have been all messed up saying who knows what,
Right. That's crazy. And my thing is, like you said, she just lost her daughter. When I say this lady, I mean, I'm looking at her like a phenomenal Black African, hardworking, her husband person, like a normal citizen. You know what I'm saying? She took this child in even before marriage. So she had the opportunity. Now my thing is, she had the opportunity to back out. They was engaged. They weren't married
Right.
yet when she found out about this, outside child. So she had the opportunity. Trust me, she's a beautiful lady.
But with that though, some women they wouldn't back out. They would say, "Well, I'm gonna deal with you, but I just that's not my problem. I'm not gonna deal with the child. I'll work my way around that and just put up with them when I have to." Like she could have done that, but I'm not saying that she did. But I'm just saying that doesn't always. That's not always the case.
Yeah, and my thing is like, okay, so you waited 14 months to kill this child?
Yeah, that don't make no sense. And she's an LPN. Like, no, Nurses are people, like people. They don't are people persons.
Right.
They're not like, you can't be a nurse and be a child abuser. Those two things don't go together. The way she was in those pictures with that baby when she was pregnant and the baby was on her stomach, and that she really took that child as like her daughter. Even her brother to this day feels like that's his niece,
Right.
He also wants justice for Jariah. She was a part of their family.
Yeah, see, the thing about that is, okay, they're used to blended families. They have a huge family on Tequila's
right.
side. They're used to blended families. So
that was nothing new.
Right. She is a Southern girl. She's an all-around girl. Seems to be soft-spoken, get along with everybody, have no bad blood, never been in trouble, blase that. My thing is, when she accepted that baby, she accepted it from the heart because they are church, God-fearing people. So my thing is, I don't think a person that is newly engaged, right, to be married to a man that will go in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna kill this baby in 14 months." Why 14 months? She could have instantly just killed the baby because she accepted the baby.
Right.
As soon as they got that DNA test and this child, you are the father, she accepted the baby.
Yeah, she could have.
Come on, yeah. That's a given. Like, I don't think, unless your mind is psychologically, and you do have people like that. Let's not knock the fact that you do have people that plan premeditated. They plan things like that. But I just can't see it in my mind. Like I said, I don't see that lady doing nothing to that child. When I say she's a good stepmother, you know what I'm saying? So my like I said, it aches, my heart aches for both sides. And like you were saying, it's so many red flags, and people here and everywhere else, but here especially in Mississippi, they have kickbacks and stuff like that. It's about politics. Like, come on, this is a lady that never been in trouble. She's an easy.
What do you mean kickbacks?
Kickbacks, when I say, okay, well, I'm gonna do this for you. Like, they altered the report. They altered, the prosecutor went to the medical examiner and they altered the report. So I'm gonna do you this favor if you do me that favor. That's when I say kickback.
Okay.
So my thing is like, I just don't see that child being murdered by the stepmom, and only you focus in on this stepmom because of the wording. She didn't tell the same exact wording. Come on now, like you said, I just lost a child. Shoot,
right.
If I lose a child, ain't no telling what I'm gonna say because my mind is not there like that.
Even in a regular conversation with another person, like on any other day, you can slip up and say something that you don't mean, then correct yourself. Right. It happens all the time. That's happened in the conversation I've been having with you. So
yeah. I mean, come on, but
you can't go off of that.
So when I was thinking about, okay, they said, so just keep in mind, y'all, they was going to try her and her husband together. So at the last minute,
they separated them.
They separated them. So she got trial that week. They separated the husband. He got his trial postponed to a question mark date. We don't know the date. It can be years from now. they had been on house arrest or whatever, where they had to be in the house before 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. They had to be in the house. So they actually turned themselves in, because they knew they didn't do anything to the baby. They turned themselves in. They got their stipulations where they had to be in the house by 6 or 7 o'clock. And after that, I mean, it was that for 3 years. It happened in 2017 up until their trial date. Now, my question is, why did they postpone the husband trial? Why they didn't trial them together? Both of them was in the house.
The reason that they separate people, the reason that they would have separated them in this case is because they want her to stand alone as the villain. If they put them together, there's reasonable doubt to think that the dad did it. Now, if you got reasonable doubt to think the dad did it, then what's gonna make you think the stepmom did it? Oh, she's the evil stepmother who hated, was jealous of the child. He had the child out on his own. If you put him next to her in the trial, it don't really make sense. It don't make as much sense. But if you put her by herself and come up with the story that she was jealous because he had a baby on her and this and that and this and that, she looks like the bad guy.
Right.
So if they can, play that out and convict her, then they can now deal with convicting him. And I think they're going to try to give him a lesser charge than her because they know he's not guilty.
Right.
I don't know why they're trying to pin it on them instead of actually prosecuting the people who did this to the child, or to actually find out the facts of the case. Because when you're talking about a child, it's not about pinning blame on anybody or politics or anything like that. At the end of the day, you need to be looking out for the interests of the child and making sure this doesn't happen again, making sure that you're doing your job.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. Like, that's a good point. My thing is, and then with children, I have small children. I mean, small children. Well, I have younger children. My 1-year-old fall all the time. And it could have been that case where the baby the baby was falling. In this case, she was falling. She had falls when she was trying to learn how to walk and all this kind of stuff. At one point she was falling, and my children fall all the time. And they could have contusions, old bruises that I don't know in their head, but they always say, when your baby bump your head, take them to the hospital. They have did that before when she fell at their house, the Bevily. They took her to the hospital one time and got a report. They saying that they overreacted, but they made sure she was good, which was fine. I don't knock them for that. But it's
the Bevillys did. You saying that the Bevillys did that happened before? They took her to the hospital. So what would be any different about this time? Why wouldn't they take her to the hospital if they felt like something was wrong with her?
Well, no, I'm saying like when she was learning to walk, the baby was learning to walk. One time, I think she had hit her, and it was kind of a black eye or something. And they were saying that they checked her out, made sure she was good or whatever. Now, in this case, the baby was asleep or whatever. So they at the hospital all day. They thinking the baby may be tired or something from being in the hospital all day if she wasn't in her normal activity. And then again, you got to think back, okay, where his mom is dying, but we kind of not really paying our kids no attention about, how they acting or whatever, because we got a lot going on. So we got our baby, but we're not really paying them attention about their activity. So I mean, I see that because I got my children. That's like me on a normal day. Me and my husband, we have our children. My mom or somebody's sick in our family, we got our children, but we're not paying attention to their activity like that. So that could have been one of those cases. But my thing is, it's too many red flags in this case, period. Too many red flags. Like,
in order to convict somebody, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And there is way too much doubt in this case. Way too much. So there's no way they convicted her in 30 minutes. How do you give somebody a life sentence in 30 minutes? There's no way you have reviewed all the facts of the case, all the evidence that was presented to you. There's no way you discussed all that in 30 minutes. There's no way. It's impossible.
Let's see what they're saying in the comments.
Days of testimony, all the evidence they presented. No, There's no, and that's another thing. They didn't present any evidence against the stepmom. They didn't have one piece of evidence against that lady.
Nothing.
Did you see that? They didn't have nothing against her.
Nothing. Not like nothing. So let's get to see what they're saying in here, and we're gonna get back talking about it. It says Coleman, get the fuck out of here. Whoa, 30 minutes. So the mom got convicted. Yes.
Yeah, she got life without parole.
Prosecute the right person, just not anybody. That's right. Like, if this lady, if they had all the evidence, yes, prosecute her. She killed the baby. But they don't have any evidence, nothing but they was in the home. Her and her husband was in the same home with these children before the child died. That's the only evidence. Like, yes. Okay, so Mama B, this baby was in too many people. Yes, the baby was in too many people's hands. Yeah. I don't care if they are family. You can't trust everyone with your children, even family. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So like shaking my head it makes no sense, y'all. No sense. How long after losing her child did this baby die? What child, Mama B? Oh, so Takia, she had maybe the other child that was in the room with the baby. I think the baby was like maybe between 4 or 6 months. So this is a smaller baby, from Jariah or whatever. Okay, it said, oh wow, 2017. Good point. They separated them and built the narrative. Oh
yeah, that's what they do. I see them do that all the time, especially with Black folk, especially.
Okay, it says this child and all other children. Yeah, like children fall all the time. And when people, like I said, when I was reading before, it says blunt force trauma. So me in my mind, but you got to think about it. If you Google blunt force trauma, it's more than just hitting somebody upside the head. It can be, we in the car, we get into a wreck, and I hit my head. That's blunt force trauma. Anything dealing with your head that impact your head, that's blunt force trauma. So, but like I said, me thinking, okay, somebody hit this baby. But you got to think about it. Blunt force trauma is not just hitting the baby upside the head. I can get hit by a hammer, or I can bump my head or something like that. That's blunt force trauma.
What do you think happened to the baby?
So I think, let me get with these comments. Hold on 1 second. Hey, sexy too for you, Coleman. Hope all is well. Chatting here, listening, queens, grands here. So couldn't come up. I love this. Okay, thank you. Hey, they speaking. Hey, Coleman. I love this discussion and how you both are presenting facts. I would love to hear you guys talk on Angel Baptist case that happened here in Chattanooga. Send that to me. We can talk about it. You know, Tiff loves talking about it.
Yes, I love to talk, honey.
Yeah, so when I thought about this case, I thought about a couple of people, and I know she was one of the great person that I thought about. Like, I knew it would be a good topic or whatever. And
this one was good.
Yeah,
I had never even heard of the case, and I've told a couple people about it and brought awareness to them. So this is a good thing to talk about.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you asked me, what do I think happened to the baby? So my opinion on it, I'm gonna say opinion. I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way. My opinion is, I think it could have been, I think 2 things. I don't know if I can get 2 things, but I think 2 things.
Okay.
So I think it could have been, the baby may have gotten hurt.
Okay.
At the cousin's house, Danielle Skinner's house.
Okay.
I think that happened because the reason why was the baby crying excessively? And so I think, and for 2, why did she decline when Takia first said, we'll come and get Jariah?
That one right there. That was the question I had too. But and then why did you have the brother transport her to the auntie? Why didn't you take her? Did you want to like make it look like maybe he did something to the child? You know? That was my question.
Cut you off. So when I was researching, they said Morris's brother, his elevator don't go all the way to the top. Now I'm not pointing no fingers, but they did say that he is kind of a little slow. But I'm not saying that he. Like I said, you can't point. Like you really can't point it at nobody. And then, as I went to go on the research, they said when one of the medical examiners, I can't remember which one of them, but one of the three people that looked at this child's body said the prosecution, they in fact let him know that he had to alter the report, right? And some of the things they left out. So I don't think it was the first medical examiner. I think it was the second one. But some of the things they left out about the facts and the timeline. So he said under oath, he couldn't pinpoint if it was to kill Morris or whoever for that matter. So my thing is, why did they give this lady life with no evidence, y'all? Why?
I don't know.
It's crazy. Hit the like button for ItzB. Yes. Who sends their child without basic necessities? Nobody. Because I'm going to overpack my child. From medicine and all. Oh, I would definitely have to look more into this. I am not that privacy to all of the info. Okay. Yeah, look into that. Tip with the T, loving your channel topic is definitely going to catch up. Oh yeah, she got some.
I'm about to mute myself. Hold on, I hear a crying baby.
Okay. But yeah, y'all. So like I was saying, like it had to be something she said, and yeah, it was Mama B. Like I said, they were saying that what made them. And I have the transcripts too, y'all. I've been on this case. I have the actual court transcripts. Like it's like 800 and some pages, almost 1,000 pages, y'all. So I have the transcripts of what happened in the court. But like I was saying, Mama B, during the interview, they said they aimed in on her because of the wording. So it wasn't a big change in her story of what happened that night, but it was a small little change in the story. So that's what made them aiming towards to kill, you know. But like we saying, everybody's not gonna say everything verbatim. That's just like me. I'm not gonna say that I went up to the street to the store. Again, I might say, girl, I went to the street to the store. And then I turn around and tell my mom, well, Mom, I went up to the street, up to the store. I went to the store up the street to Dollar General. Well, I didn't tell my friend I went to Dollar General, but I just told her that I went to the store. So that was the difference in whatever Takia said in her interview. It wasn't a major difference. And like I said, I mean, people don't say everything verbatim. That's not enough to aim at this one person. And the baby was in too many hands that weekend. Period. Like, it could have happened anywhere. But my thing is, something may have happened while the baby was at Danielle Skinner's house, which is Morris's cousin. Because, again, the baby would not stop crying. Why was the baby so upset in her care? Why did she call nobody but Takia? Takia wasn't the person that dropped the baby off. Okay, that's just like if I get Tiff's baby. Why would I call her husband? Mm-hmm. Or why would I call her mother-in-law? I got her child from Tiff. Now, I'm going to call Tiff. First, I'm going to call 911 for one.
Right.
Because the baby, something wrong with this baby. I done changed the baby. I done fed the baby. The baby done went to sleep. I done checked the baby temperature. I'm calling 911, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm calling the mother. And after that, if I can't get in contact with her, with the mother, okay, then I can call her husband. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get in contact with the husband, then I can call the husband parents or they parents. You know,
There's a chain of command when you're dealing with a child.
huh?
I said there's a chain of command when you're
Yeah,
dealing with the child.
definitely. But the first thing you want to do, yeah, you want to call 911 or you want to go to the nearest hospital. 911 ain't fast enough. Get in that car and drive that baby to the nearest hospital. You know, that's what you'll do. But I wouldn't be calling. She didn't get the baby from the stepmother or the father. They didn't even know the baby was at the cousin's house. So why would you call to kill? That's a
Mm-hmm.
red flag, y'all. That's a second red flag. The baby was excessively crying. Then she called the stepmother. Why didn't you
Mm-hmm.
call the biological father? I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but hey, you didn't call the mother that you got the baby from. So why you calling to kill? That was an
Mm-hmm.
easy target. That's what I think. That's my opinion in it. But I mean, a lot of times, you know, and then it could have been the baby probably was either the baby wasn't comfortable with them because the baby don't go to them often. You know that she don't visit the cousins often. It could have been the baby was uncomfortable with them and they may have got frustrated. Cause I get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated with all my kids all the time, y'all. I be pulling hair and I be needing a drink. Like,
Yeah.
let's be real. I have 3 kids. I get frustrated, but I ain't finna be banging them upside the head because that's not
Right.
right, you know. My
Yeah.
children that asked to be here, so I'm not gonna be mistreating them. So it could have been that the baby was nervous or uptight about being in an unfamiliar place, and maybe they got to where they couldn't handle the
They got
baby crying.
aggravated. Yeah. They're you're more likely to get aggravated in those type of situations because it's not your child. You don't know how to deal with it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of red flags when it comes to that, y'all. I mean, it's been on my heart so heavy, y'all. Like it's a lot of red flags, and my thing is, if they did do something, and some people they will take it to the grave when it comes to situations like that. They would take it to the grave instead of being truthful and
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Well, this, and the third happened to that child." But since Takia she was outnumbered. She's a
Yeah.
stepmother. Hey, that's a red flag right there. She's a stepmother, so she's the easy target. But my thing is, a lot of times you have to look into who your child is dealing with, whether it's family or friends.
Mm-hmm.
It says the slow cousin may have did something to the baby. Majority of mentally challenged, be they have anger problems, right? That's right. Definitely a chain of command. Yes, it's a chain of command when it comes to children, y'all. People need to be mindful of who you leave your children. Definitely. My children, anybody know my children go to a handful of people, and that's my mother's, or you know what I'm saying? They go to a handful
Mm-hmm.
of people. They don't go to everybody. I don't need that big of a
Even when they're like family, no, there's family that I wouldn't even put my kids around. Nope.
exactly.
No.
Exactly. My daughter get on my damn nerves, but I'm not just gonna let her be around any and everybody. Exactly, exactly. And I'm at the age where I don't even have to go to a bar or nothing. I can have my bar and club or
At
whatever
home.
at home with my family. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they got frustrated and hit that baby. My daughter has autism and have never trusted just anyone with her. She's 16. Exactly, like. No.
It's not saying that they would do something necessarily, but because they're unpredictable, they have a disorder. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. So the fact that she got all these people like dealing with the child is just it's not wise.
No.
It's not wise. This is how situations like this happen.
Yep. Yep. And see, my thing is like Tiff, she asked me what was my opinion on it, and then I said, I really do think either one, the baby was getting injured leading up to the fact, and it was a sudden death, which it could happen like that. Like you said, children, small kids, they run into everything, fall and do all that crap because they curious. And it could have been very well an innocent death. But and then for two, something had to happen where that baby was so upset. I mean, excessively crying. Something had to happen. It could have happened. I'm gonna say that it could have happened. So you have to look into everything. But I don't think just because Takia used her a small snippet of wording should have convicted her life in jail. Now my thing is, I'm a mother. So yes, if she did it, yes, she deserves life.
Absolutely.
You know, God, like my thing is, yeah, she deserves life. But if she didn't do it, I will fight for every being of my freedom. You got to look at it. This lady is between 28 and 30, so they're young. These are successful citizens. This lady, she's the LPN. Her husband, he's an educator. Come on, like you have ruined
Oh,
my
he
life.
works with kids.
Yeah.
The dad works with kids.
Yeah, I don't know what ages, but he's a teacher or was a teacher or whatever. He's an educator. So my thing is like, these are good, well, everyday citizens. You have to look in the fact like, did these people really do that? You have to, in 30 minutes, like you said, is not enough to convict nobody. They had already put that tag on the lady's head. She was already guilty when before she stepped in the door, y'all. When they read that the fine print, the black and white, she was guilty. And why didn't you change the venue? Why didn't you change the venue? They requested to change the venue because the town was so small.
Small.
Why couldn't it have been the next state over? The next state over. Why didn't you change that venue? And my thing is, you gotta keep in mind, y'all, when they sent those letters out for the jury, when they sent those letters out, these people know this is a small town. Come on. These people know who they sending these letters out. To who they know. Come on. Like it makes no sense to me. You know who you sending those letters out to be on that jury with. And on top of that, it's a small town. You didn't change the venue. You denied this lady, even though they said, I don't know if they use the lie detector here in Mississippi, but think about it. If they don't use it in Mississippi and I take a lie detector test, they don't use it in the Mississippi courts. Put it like that, I don't think. But if I take the lie detector test, I requested, because I said I'm not guilty. I requested a lie detector test. That's something to use against me if I'm guilty. That's something to use against me if I'm guilty. So they denied the rights of her lie detector test. I mean, everything was just a no, no, no. And my thing is, when you're looking at a case that is so small in a small town, you got to look into the investigation. The investigator was a friend of a family. He should have been exited out right off top. He shouldn't even touched. I mean, he that night he came. Okay, he came to the scene. He did his report, but after that, he should have handed it down. It's a protocol today. That's a conflict of interest right then and there. He shouldn't have been able to come in and do nothing else after he showed up on that scene and did his thorough reports. And I mean thorough. When you live it, it don't matter if it's no signs of foul play, anything. You supposed to do a thorough report. Some people get complacent with their jobs. That's another thing. You get complacent with their job, and he's in law enforcement. You supposed to take that and with a thin line, thin tooth comb, and you're supposed to have that all together. It's just so sad that a poor baby has lost her life. It's very sad. And the wrong people are seeing this, and this could still be happening to other kids in the family. I know that's right. I hope someone steps in and help, but they would have to seek help outside of the small town. Oh yeah. Oh wow. They didn't give her a fair trial at all. When was it revealed that the med exam allowed? So it was revealed during the trial. and then you know how somebody tell you something. So basically, within the trial, there was present evidence, and some of the things was not what he got made aware of the day of. So that's when they found out. And you know, like I said, it's gotta be something. It's gotta be something that's going on with this case where not only they didn't have any evidence, but everything went wrong from the investigator. After he came to their house and did his report, he should have came and told his captain, hey, I know these people. It's a conflict of interest for me to continue investigating on this case. I'm not going to take it. That's right. That's a given. Like, you can't, if you know somebody, whether it's besides the law or anything, you cannot take that. It's a conflict of interest, period. It's not professional at all. You can get sued for that. Like, he should have came in and say, hey, I'm a friend of the family of these people. I cannot take this case. But instead, it went on. And then not only that, it's so many red flags from not even besides the murder or whatever happened to the baby. It's before then. It's pen and paper, administrators. They went wrong. They dropped the ball on this case. And my thing is, you know, you have to be wary of people. And it could have very well been a setup. It could have very well been, they railroaded her, you know?
Yeah.
They should have found his testimony and admissive is what that is the word. Yeah, like they should have, for real. They really should have. It's crazy. But Tiff,
you talking about the medical examiner? I think they did throw his testimony out, which was it. I think the brother made mention of this in one of the when he was on the podcast or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. So right now, like as of now, they're going through the process of a appeal, y'all. So they have the gag order where they can't talk about it on any social media or nothing like that. But it's still things out there. You can look at the timeline, look at the diaphragms of the baby head and all that kind of stuff. It's on the blog page on Facebook, and it's under I Stand with Kia. And I just wish both families well. I just wish that if she did it, yeah, try, you know, she got life, you know. But if she didn't do it, yes. And they were stating, why didn't? So keep in mind, she had a appointed lawyer. She didn't have to pay for a lawyer. So my thing is with this, now I think
she had a public defender.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She really thought she was going to get off.
Yeah. My thing is with this though, y'all, whether I'm guilty or not, in a high case like this, and I'm just speaking on my behalf, if I'm guilty or not, I'm not getting no
public defender. No, you got to take that serious.
I'm not getting and I don't care if I say I didn't do that or not. I gotta pay for a lawyer, you know, and you know, appointed lawyers, they right in. They might act like they on your side. They right in.
And they got so many cases, they can't give you the attention that you really need.
Right.
Not for no big case like that. No.
Right. Yeah. So she really thought she was going to get off in this situation because she just knew that she was going to get off. Like, she didn't do anything, you know, and that's fine. But when you look at that situation, you got to say, hey, I got to pay for me a lawyer because this is serious. You talking about murder, homicide, life, like possibly a death penalty on, you know, like, no, you got to take it serious.
Sorry. One of the family members had asked her when all this was going on, when they were questioning her, like, don't you want to have a lawyer with you when you talking? And she's like, I don't got anything I don't have anything to hide. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. sometimes when, let me get a drink of water real quick.
Okay. It says lie detector tests are inadmissible in court. Nah, you gotta spend some bread and get a good lawyer. Definitely, like, oh, they are in that state, Chandra. Yeah, like you gotta really spend some money. I don't care guilty or not. I'm spending. We gotta be setting up car washes, food pantries, got doggone everything. Like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a paid for a lawyer. Cause this is too high profile. Then you talking about a small city this happening. I'm the sore thumb of this city. You know, I'm not from Port Gibson. I'm from another city. You know, so hey, yeah, definitely. What you were saying?
You just got too many people, you know, who want to see you convicted in a situation like this. Even if you know you're innocent, even if the people around you know you're innocent, you got people working to prove that you're guilty. You know what I'm saying? And you got to take that serious. You really do, because then you end up in situations like this. Her family was trying to tell her, you know, you need to have a lawyer around you when you talking to these people. And she was like, no, there's nothing that, you know, there's no way that they can find me guilty. There's no way. The truth is going to speak for itself. And that's not always the case. Our justice system does not always bring justice. That's just the way it is. We've seen it time and time again. And it is not working for us. You know, people of color, it don't work in our favor. So we got to keep that in the back of our minds at all time. Anytime we're dealing with the law, you know, take it, be extra about it. You know, you can never do too much as far as protecting your freedom.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I mean, it's just, it plays over my head daily. Like, I'm like, these people really railroad this lady. And it has been, so since this happened, it has been people that they've brought up that was wrongfully convicted in that same city. So it's very possible, it's very possible that she could have been wrongfully convicted. It was a lady spoke out about her child where they tried to convict her, but she got off, you know. But my thing is, and I gotta find it, I can't really remember, but my thing is, she definitely should have spent money on a lawyer. She definitely should have spent money on a lawyer. And
see, and I didn't know that. I didn't know she didn't get a lawyer.
Yeah. So now I think she do have a lawyer, but when you come with appeals, you gotta come correct, because you gotta look at, I'm going back to this same courtroom, these same people, and they already convicted me in 30 minutes, you know. So you really gotta come right. But they do have a lot of stuff they are not telling, of course, the public. And she is going through a appeal. And like I said, they do have a gag order on her. And then they were saying, why did you wait those 3 years and not say anything? She stated the reason why she didn't say anything because she wasn't guilty. And I mean, some people are like that, They feel like they don't have anything to explain to the public, the outsiders beside the courtroom, you know. So I mean, if she didn't want to speak on it at the time within those 3 years, she didn't want to speak on it. A lot of people were saying, so why are your family, the activists and everything, just now coming out to speak? They said Takia didn't want them to speak on the situation to different people, which is fine. That's a given. Some people are private like that. Everybody's not. Yeah, everybody's not going to speak on that situation.
And get this, if she would have spoken on the situation, they would have had a problem with that too. They would have twisted something that she said, used it against her somehow. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's just how that is.
And my thing is, okay, they were saying that she was a jealous stepmom. What did this lady have that baby wanted? Like, she was caring for her and her husband. They was tag teaming. Her husband, the biological mama, they was tag teaming. They was a great team, you know. They was a great team when it came to working with this, you know, this outside child. They got over their differences and it was good, you know. They was on a cordial and everything was fine for the child and it worked it fine. My thing is, they said another point. They made another point. They were saying, why did she have to seek counseling? I dropped my pen on that because that made me mad instantly, y'all. Okay,
Yeah.
my thing is, for one, when you're engaged to be married to whomever,
You should seek counsel.
plus you get a bamboozle, a knock at your door saying your soon-to-be husband may have an
Is having a
outside child.
baby. Yeah.
So guess what? I gotta seek every time. Like, come on now. I
Use
gotta seek
all your
counseling.
resources. Uh-uh.
It's a must. If I talked to God and said, hey, whatever's for me in this relationship, I'm gonna stand by my husband. I'm gonna accept my husband. I'm gonna accept this outside child. We can do counseling.
No, that tells me that she's a person of sound mind. She's somebody who she's an adult. She thinks like an adult. She operates from a place of, okay, I need all the information. I want to be equipped going into this thing before I just make a decision based off my emotions. That's a person of intelligence to me. If you know that you need to go and see a professional to guide you, you ain't
Right.
gonna shame me for that.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. My thing is everybody's gonna when you are getting married, everybody go through marriage counseling. Everybody go through some type of marriage counseling. So that wasn't after the norm. And then this come in, yeah, we need all the counseling at this point because I accepted, I've came, of course, you're gonna be taken back a little bit because I'm engaged to be married. So yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. That's a natural feeling. Come on now. You're gonna be disappointed about a child that's coming in. I'm finna marry my husband, then it's a child. Yes, you're gonna be taken back. That's a natural instinct. And they try to aim in at that. But you
she's
can't
a mature adult. She is a mature adult because I know a lot of people who don't have sense. They need to go to counseling, but they refuse. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So she's a mature and she's of mature and sound mind as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah. So, but we're gonna continue to update everybody. We're gonna be flipping from Tiff page. Make sure y'all go subscribe to her page. Her page is Tiff.
Subscribe, y'all.
Her page is Tiff with the T. And I think I put it in. Yeah, I did put it in my description box. But like I said, make sure you subscribe. She have great topics. She loves to talk about different things. And who other? I thought about her, y'all. I said, oh yeah, this will be a good one. We're gonna be doing a lot of more collabs and things to that nature. But we're gonna make sure we keep you guys updated about Takia Bevily. If you have not already, go on Facebook. I know it's a blog page called I Stand with Kia. It have a lot of informative things. They have blogs where her family activists and lawyers are they're on it. So right now, like I said, they haven't spoke a lot because they under a gag order where they cannot talk about the case on social media, but get up to date about this case. I really consider everybody the families. But I really hate that they charged this lady with life without all this evidence. But we're gonna keep pushing, y'all. They have did a lot of rallies for her, and a lot of people. I think it's like 15 or 20K people. I mean, from all over the world has reached out, so that she have a lot of support when it comes to getting justice for her. True justice. If she did it, she did, and if she didn't, she didn't. But my thing is, we're gonna keep updating y'all. Mom said, "Hell, I got counseling
As
before
you
my marriage."
should, Chandra.
Yeah. Okay. Great. YouTube better send out these notifications. Thank you, Coleman. Yep. She said we did good. Great discussion. Thank you, Chad. So yeah, make sure y'all go check out Tiff with the T. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit that bell. Make sure you share it. Comment on this discussion. I really love today's discussion. And you have anything to say, Tiff, before we go?
No, that was fun. I enjoyed myself. I
All right.
definitely like hearing your perspective on that.
Yeah, I really look. I was so thrilled today. I was like, I cannot wait to talk to her. So, like I said, we'll be collabing more. And Until next time, y'all.
All right.
All
Later.
right. See y'all later. All right.